And salutations. I'm Gil.
And I'm Gil. This is Strategic Prepper.
All right, welcome. So I want to welcome you guys to this episode. We're going to be talking about a topic that is might be more relevant than we like to think right now, and that is 7 things to do to prepare for a creeping SHTF. So we're going to get into that. Before we do, a couple of housekeeping things. First of all, if you guys could, click the like, click the subscribe, share with a friend, and that will help us to get our information. It helps the algorithm, it really does. And also leave comments throughout the video about certain aspects and let me know what you think and if you've got other ideas. Also, we have surpassed 2,000 subscribers. I want to thank you guys. You guys are the ones that make this channel happen. So I do appreciate that. Junior, he's not here today. He also appreciates that. So want to thank you guys for that. Also, join us on Patreon. We've got some new material. As we have often said, capabilities are 3 things, and that's gear, that's skills, and knowledge. So we've got this new series where we're really talking about knowledge and how to improve our knowledge and understanding with we're going every week with a book review and doing about 3 of those a month on various books and really digging into that type of information that we as preparedness-minded, readiness-minded people that we need to have. So Patreon, sign up. We appreciate it. Your support in that area would be very much appreciated. All right, on to today's topic. So if I glance over, got to make sure I follow my notes here. All right, so this I think is an important topic because I look around and I'm sure you guys are looking around and oh my gosh, this may be more relevant than we would like to think. We may be on the cusp of a creeping SHTF, and so I wanted to cover some things that we can do to help us to be better positioned if this happens. So let me first start off by defining what I mean by creeping SHTF. So this is incremental steps within a compressed time frame which brings about a condition of extreme widespread hardship. So that's my definition. And compressed time frame could be a couple of months, couple of years, but it's basically like that frog in the pot. If you gradually turn up that temperature, the frog stays in the water. If you just put the frog in the boiling water, it jumps out. That incremental SHTF, I think we've been seeing signs for quite some time. But I think that those powers that be might be moving in this direction. So hopefully they don't ban this video because they don't like me saying this. But anyway, we'll find out. All right. So our goals, and the reason I want to cover goals before I get into the 7 things that we can do, because my list may not exactly match up with your needs. So if it doesn't, but we're on the same page with the goals, then you can make adjustments to the list and have your own list that might be tweaked a little bit, and still you would be able to accomplish those goals, and it would help. It helps all of us to understand what the end is when we're coming up with plans. If we don't know what the end game is, what the goal is, then we sometimes waste energy, waste resources, waste time. Okay, so I want to get 3 goals that we want to really try to accomplish within these 7 steps. All right, goal 1. We want to separate from the government system as much as practical. And by government, I'm talking the monetary system. I'm talking there's so many different aspects about the government or the societal system. We want to be able to separate as much as possible. Second goal, have the capability to quickly detach. Let me give you an example. I've got power lines running to my property. Yes, I pay a power bill. Most of us do. But Having the capability to detach would mean having the capability, either through solar, wind, or whatever, to generate some of my own power, so that if I had to, I could stop using power from the power company and could generate my own. That's one example. The third goal is to be able to provide security in a time of prolonged deprivation. So we're looking at security aspects as well. This would include both physical security and operational security. So we're going to see how those apply in just a moment. But those are the three goals. So I think these 7 things that we can do will help us to accomplish these goals. And if you have got other things that would help us, please share, because we all learn from each other. All right, first thing we can do is reduce or eliminate debt. When we start to see a threat or a concern, it's real easy to go break out the credit card and to start buying gear and putting gear on that credit card. Now, that might be the right thing for one of you, but in general, we want to try to reduce that debt and eliminate it if we can. Next one, and this goes along with that, and that is to reduce expenses. So we need to take a look at our weekly, monthly budgets and see what we can cut, and how we can shrink that down. If we have this creeping SHTF, it will be in part economic, and because if it is in part economic, we need to have alternatives, and we need to make sure that anything that we're going to suffer as far as from a lack of being able to utilize or engage in the greater society, we want to make sure that we have a backup, or we have a reduced need on that system. So the idea is that when the crap hits the fan, the impact on us should be as minimal as possible. That's what we want to get there. All right, so reduce, eliminate debt, reduce expenses. We also want to improve our self-reliance on the essentials. We know what the essentials are: food, water, heat. So we want to improve our self-reliance. If you have a system, you're up north, you have a system and you use heating oil, that's not bad. I'm not saying don't use the heating oil. What I'm saying is you need a backup. Wood stoves are great. If you have a wood stove and you don't have wood, this might be a time to start getting extra cords of wood. This is an example. So you should have an idea how much wood you use. Do you use 3 cords, 4 cords a year? Just keep in mind, if you use 3 cords in a normal environment, you'd probably be using a wood stove a lot more if there is a lack of power availability. So you would need the wood stove for cooking and boiling water and things like that. So start to collect that extra wood supply, the wood reserve, if wood is your fuel, wood is your alternate fuel. All right, so self-reliance on the essentials is another thing that we can do. Also, the fourth item, the fourth thing that we can do to prepare for creeping SHTF is to have an alternate money system from the banking money system. All right, so yes, we know about gold, we know about silver, but in my mind, this also includes pulling money out of the banks, having cash on hand, and having enough cash on hand. I personally believe that everyone ought to have 6 months cash on hand, and it shouldn't be in the bank. And why do I say that? Well, I take a look at history. I'm a history guy. I have studied history from ancient times, from before Rome was around, all the way up. I've literally read hundreds and hundreds of history books, and I see that since there has been a banking system, that governments have tried to control that. Let me give you an example. The Greece, just not that long ago. In fact, I'll give you the year. Let me research the year, and I'll get that for you when I edit this. But the Greeks had a bank holiday. Sounds nice, right? We all want a holiday. They had a bank holiday, shut down the banks. And for the first couple of days, when I was going to check the history, I know my memory is pretty good on this. But the history that I pulled up on the internet said that they're allowed to pull money off the ATM. Well, let me tell you, first couple of days they were not allowed. The ATMs were shut down completely, and eventually, after some protests and all that, then they opened that up, and they opened that up to 80 euros, about 100. We'll call it $100 a day, and of your money from the ATM. It's happened before, and your money. That brings to mind what happened in Cyprus. Anyway, we'll talk about that on a different video. Is it really your money? No, it's not really your money if it's in the bank. It's the bank's money, and you are the creditor. They owe you money, but it doesn't mean they have to give it to you. And you say FDIC, well, FDIC, that is for a failed bank that has collapsed. That's, like I said, I actually cover this somewhat in depth in one of my earlier threat videos at the beginning of the year. I'll link that up here somewhere. But if you're interested in what I'm talking about with Cyprus, take a look at that video. But these are cards that are on the table. This is not stuff that old Gil here is just creating, sitting in a corner of his new studio. You like my studio? Sitting in the corner of his studio, all wild-eyed, coming up with crazy ideas. That's not it. These are things that have happened, and these are things that our leaders talk about doing. Really, they talk about doing. So this is the stuff I pay attention to. I don't really focus on theories I don't focus on theories or possibilities that really don't have any historical background, although those things might happen. But I focus more on what has happened and how people act and behaviors and where things may go. And that's why I'm talking about this today. But take a look at that threat video, and you might be interested to find out. I've got another video coming up. We're going to take a little bit more look on the monetary side and some of the other things. Like I said, our leaders. We have this this one woman who is being right now as we speak. The Senate is looking at her for being comptroller in the Treasury Department. Very, very powerful position. I'm going to be talking about that in a video coming up in a week or so. And this woman, very powerful monetarily speaking for our money system, actually believes and has said earlier this year, not as a college kid, earlier this year, has said that she believes that we as individuals should not have private bank accounts, that the government should actually take over all of our private bank accounts. Okay. Should be scary stuff. She thinks that's normal. She's an avowed communist, even to this day. And the Biden administration is looking at putting her as the comptroller, and things like that have consequences. So, alternate money, like I said, what that means is have money alternate from the banking system. At least 6 months reserve. A year is better. Heck, I'd like 100 years of reserves, but I don't have it. So do what you can. The more, the merrier. All right. So that is 4 things so far. 4? Yeah, 4. All right. 3 more to go. Stock up. Establish supply targets. You should have already done that, one would hope. But establish targets, and we're talking about the essentials, life essentials, food, water filtration. I don't think you ought to have 10,000 gallon water tank, but that might be appropriate for your situation. For most people, water filtration would be sufficient. Heating fuel, ammo, hygiene items. If you've got kids with diapers, make sure you've got a supply of some alternate to the store diapers. I mean, great way to reduce expenses in a hurry is to go to the cloth diapers. Now, as long as the system is working and you can go to the market and you've got your job and you've got access to your money, yeah, by all means, keep buying the disposables. Do what you got to do. But you should have that capability to flip a switch and being able to go in a different mode with reduced expenses and reduced reliance. All right, so stock up, prepare supply targets for long-term isolation, long-term deprivation. Number 6, you want to prepare your location's physical and operational security. If you've got something and somebody else is also deprived and struggling, if you've got it, they're going to want it. That's just human nature. Some people are going to go to extreme measures. Some people out there, you say, man, I don't have enough. All right, I guess I'll go down the road. You know, the thing is, those are the ones you probably want to help, the ones who aren't going to be threatening you. But there's a lot of people who think that if you have, you should give to them. And my problem with that is you can never give them enough. They're entitled. And you got your ingrates that whatever you give them, they're not thankful. Then you're entitled who think that you should give them because you have an extra apple or you have an extra something, and you should give. And those groups never get they're never satisfied. You guys have heard me say that before. All right, security, physical security. Check your perimeter. Check how you're going to monitor your perimeter. Check your security within your house. How you're going to like I said, man and secure. If you got big enough property, are you going to do patrols within your property, patrols outside your property? These are things that you want to consider and start to take measures. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of something that you could do now, that you should do if you haven't already. If you've got predetermined firing points, we're talking tactical situations here, and you've got predetermined locations. Let's say you take a raised bed garden and you have situated that in just the right spot where it also doubles as a bunker or reinforced position. Not a bad idea, Gil, you say. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. And let's say you've got a fence line that you're observing from this position. You should get all your ballistics information down. How far away is are you shooting down a hill? What's that going to do to the round? Are you shooting up a hill? What's that going to do? And you should know, for whichever ammo you have, you should know the adjustments that you're going to have to make other than windage, the adjustments you're going to have to make on your ballistics. And that should be written down. I would say not on a piece of paper. I'd go burn it on a piece of wood and put it as a plaque there, because you're going to hopefully have several different positions like this. And put that ballistics information, have it all figured in advance. Why do you want to have to figure this out during emergency? This is the type of security things that you and I can do now to help us prepare for any type of SHTF, whether it's a creeping SHTF or whether it's an instantaneous SHTF. So that's on the tactical side. Also operational. When you're building your security apparatus, you don't want to advertise. Now, I know my neighbors. Hey, neighbors. My neighbors watch my channel, and I hope you don't get offended if I don't put all my details on here. But that's part of operational security, is to not share with everybody what you're doing. Life should have surprises for people. I'm not saying my neighbors are going to do this, but I'm just saying is you want to protect information. Information is security. So you want to protect information about your security. That is operational security. And give me a moment here. My screen went black. All right. So operational security is protecting information so that people don't know what you have. They don't know where it is. I like surprises. Well, okay, actually in real life I don't like surprises, but when it comes tactically speaking, I love surprises. And I've got all kinds of surprises. I'm actually in a pretty quiet section of town here. I'm out in the woods, surrounded by houses. So anyone coming into my property, you've heard me say this before. For the most part, I mean, there's a road access, and then through the bushes and all that, and the deer somehow come onto my property. And but for the most part, if some hoodlum is going to sneak onto my property, they pretty much have to sneak through a neighbor. That gives me a measure of security. So, but operational security, though, I don't want to advertise what I have and where I have it. As far as resources, as far as people, as far as anything. So there's actually a lot of detailed videos. We're actually going to do one here in a bit. Junior and I are working on information. We want to be as comprehensive and yet succinct as possible. So we're working on a location security video coming up. There's a lot of things that I learned as being security at chemical plants, being the head of security, that really do apply to my homestead, and I want to share some of those. So security, operational and physical security, you want to take steps to strengthen those. And let's see, the last one, build relationships. Mutual assistance group is one option. I have a video on building relationships with friends and families that are not preparedness minded. So I've got a link up here somewhere. And so we want to build those type of relationships. We should already be doing that. Hopefully you guys already saw that video and it's giving you some ideas. But we want to reach out and build those relationships because we may have to rely on people at different levels. And if you don't have a strong relationship, you don't have with a lot of people, then you're not going to have a large pool of people that can assist you. And yes, the idea is to be as self-reliant. For me, self-reliant means not reliant on the world system, the government system. It does not mean not relying on other people. I fully expect to be able to lean on people for help, and I fully expect to have to help or want to help other people. The government, screw them. You know, they're causing this mess. They're on their own. So you want to build those relationships. So this is kind of a lot to think about. So let me do a quick recap. And if you hang on to the end of the recap, I'm going to tell you what we got coming up, and you're going to like this. All right. So I talked about the definition, creeping SHTF incremental steps within a compressed time frame, which brings about a condition of extreme hardship. We got goals: separate from the government or the world system, the monetary system, have the capability to quickly just cut it off, and make sure we take care of security. Thing one that we can do is reduce or eliminate debt. 2, reduce expenses. 3, improve our self-reliance on the essentials. 4, come up with alternate money. 5, want to stock up on essentials. 6, prepare your location's physical and operational security. 7, build relationships. So do those things, and you're going to be in a good spot, or in a better spot than most people, when things just when you realize, oh my gosh, all of a sudden we're in SHTF and I didn't see it because the temperature was turned up slowly. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot out of it. Please, like I said, share with somebody. Thumbs up, comments down below. I'd like to know what you guys think. And with that, stay safe and stay prepared.